Hello and welcome to another edition of the Columbia Tribune's Mizzou Sports Podcast. I'm Danny Jones with Teague Robinson as usual. We're here in St. Louis at the Scott Trade Center. We're currently in the media food area, right in the bowels of the stadium. It's halftime between Vanderbilt and Georgia right now, but we're providing a live update of the SEC tournament and what we learned today, which is kind of the news that everybody's been waiting for all season. Michael Porter is going to make his postseason debut, really expected to make his biggest contribution of the season tomorrow night in Mizzou's second-round game. Mizzou's already got an NCAA tournament berth pretty much locked up, but they're going to be playing in front of a home crowd and looking to improve on whatever they can, their seed, however they can. So I guess we'll start there. Just start with Michael coming back. So Konzo addressed it. He answered questions about it for about 12 minutes today. It was all anybody was really interested in talking about.
There was one other question that wasn't Michael Porter Jr.
Right, and it was about playing in St. Louis, which is where he's originally from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you make of the timing? What do you make of the scenario that Michael Porter's coming back for a postseason game as opposed to a regular season game?
Yeah, I thought the timing is weird. I don't know if it's the timing of, I guess, the announcement of that him returning. I thought the announcement of him coming back was weird that it was today. I don't know what they got out of it. Like, what's the plus side to being today instead of tomorrow? Maybe the fact that you can get more fans down here for that. But I think it's cool. I mean, it's cool. I think the Scott Trade's going to be packed tomorrow, as it should be. I think it will help Mizzou in the long run, mostly because our good friend Alex Schiffer from the Kansas City Star is walking by us. Mostly because Missouri just gets another body. With Cullen Van Leer out for the year, they really need another body. Now, I think it's going to take time for them to gel. I don't think they're going to step on the court against Georgia. Most likely Georgia at this point.
Yeah, up 31 at halftime over Vanderbilt as we speak. 21, okay.
I thought you guys were podcasting.
We are. So here's Alex Schiffer.
You're recording and
podcasting? Yeah, we do them both at the same time.
Oh, we do that too.
Maximize our efficiency.
You copied us.
Yeah, I think we did it first. Maybe. I'm pretty sure we did it first.
Yeah, what are you guys talking about?
What do you think we're talking about?
Jordan Geis flu symptoms.
Yeah. We're getting to that. We're going to tease. We can't give that away too early, or all our viewers will tune out.
Journalism is called burying the lead.
Right, yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show, Chip.
Yeah. We'll have you on. We'll have you as a guest on sometime.
Yeah. But no, I don't think they're going to gel right away offensively. I mean, it's going to take them time for sure, but I think if they get it going, I think this automatically makes Missouri a contender to win the SEC tournament. If Mike can come in and contribute even a little bit, I think he contributes more than what Cullen would have been on the floor. I think they make a legitimate title contender if they can make it tough.
I think it was a wide-open tournament to begin with. I think the top two seeds, of the two, I feel, Auburn and Tennessee shared the regular season title.
Right.
I feel like of those two, Tennessee right now is the more well-rounded team. Yeah, they did. Auburn's lost a lot to injury.
I think Tennessee might be the most well-rounded team in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're really solid down low, rebound and defend really well, and those things tend to travel, go wherever you go.
Right.
So I think, but aside from that, I mean, Mizzou already beat Tennessee. Could get hot.
Yeah.
Arkansas could even be a team that contends at the end.
Yeah.
So I agree that it was a wide open tournament. And when you're basically trading Cullen Van Leer for Michael Porter, if you add Michael Porter, it's different.
Even a 60% Michael Porter, which it looks and seems like he's more than 60%. I imagine he's probably around 80.
Right. So there was a report today from ESPN that Michael was hesitant to come back was because of his confidence. Maybe he just didn't feel like he was able to live up to, the expectations or his own expectations as a player. And Konzo talked a little bit about that today too. Well, I mean, he said when you're at a level like that to start with, after you get hurt, you're always expecting it to get back to that level.
Right, and it takes time, especially when you come out with back surgery. Even though it wasn't a major back surgery like Michael's, it's still going to take him time, I think. But what Konzo said today is that you become 100% by game reps. Konzo said he after surgeries And it seems Hanzo talks about surgeries all the time. It seems like he's just hurt his whole career.
I don't think Hanzo ever played 100% healthy.
Ever. And
I don't think he's 100% healthy now.
Right. And he said the way he got to be 100% was by, or even being close to 100% was by getting game reps. I think that just getting back in the flow of things, that gets you not only healthy, but allows you to build your confidence. Mike hit 15 straight periods of practice today.
Right.
Until he hits a few of those in a game, your confidence isn't going to be there because you're always going to be second guessing yourself.
Yeah, and that's, he said he wanted to play a couple tune-ups before the tournament. That didn't happen, but that was why, I think that was the thought, not just for him, but for people around him and Mizzou fans too, was now you're trying to get back in the flow of things in the tournament. Right.
And that's not ideal for anybody.
But, I mean, I guess I understand that point a little bit. There wasn't anybody. I mean, nobody else had control over that except Mike. That was what Konzo said after the Vanderbilt game: is he will play when he's ready to play. And I love the reaction Konzo said when Michael told him yesterday that he was ready to play. Konzo said, "All right, let's roll." And that was it.
It's the total Konzo Martin thing to say.
Right.
I could totally see him saying that.
Yeah.
I don't think he made that up at all.
Right. Yeah. Just totally nonchalant. Getting the number one player and the number one high school prospect in the country back. All right, let's roll. All right, yeah. So I think
it's really good. I think Mizzou fans have a lot of reasons to be excited for this. Not just a chance. I mean, I think even we're excited just to see Michael Porter play.
Yeah.
But the legitimate, what this could do for them in this tournament is big because you're looking at an 8 seed. You need to win a few to get to a 6 or a 7 seed.
Yeah.
I think if Mike ends up coming in here and gelling with this group pretty quickly, the sky's the limit for this team. I think they could beat a lot of teams in this tournament.
So there's been a lot of talk about comparable situations to this. I don't think there's ever been a real comparable situation. Kyrie Irving obviously comes to mind as somebody who got hurt in the beginning of the season and came back at the end.
Right, but even then, he played 9 games before he got hurt. And, I mean, we're talking, he had 9 games and then all those practices. Like, he had preseason 2 minutes gone. Like, he hasn't played practice for 2 weeks.
Right.
What that practice. So, it's a comparable one, but I don't know. It just really doesn't live up to it.
I'm trying to imagine other scenarios in sports where you have this sort of hype around one guy. Yeah. The other thing about Kyrie Irving is he plays for Duke. Yeah. Duke gets players like him every year. Yeah.
I honestly, maybe this is just me being from Cleveland. When the Cavs drafted LeBron, that was a big deal.
It was him coming back?
No, drafted him.
Oh, got him the first time.
Yeah, because Cleveland hadn't had somebody like – we were terrible. Our best player was Jonas Okauskas.
Boy.
Yeah, we were bad. And to have that, like, out of Cleveland had never
Not Anderson Varejao? No?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
We won't talk.
Those are the dark days.
But, yeah, it's Mizzou hasn't had anything like this. I think it's just a unique situation and just all around.
What do you think about the decision to, his debut coming in the SEC tournament and not necessarily at Mizzou? Obviously, he still gets a chance to play in Missouri. I think there's a chance for a lot of Mizzou fans who haven't seen him play live to still get to see him play. But what do you think about that opportunity to play here as opposed to in a regular season game?
If he had played at Mizzou Arena, it would have been nuts.
Yeah.
The place would have been crazy for him. I think it'd still be pretty nuts here at the Scottrade. I think you're talking tomorrow if they play Georgia, they'd probably have 80%. They'd probably have 80% of the fans in the building. Mm-hmm. So it would still be pretty crazy. Even the Georgia fans will want to see Michael Porter play. But I don't think it would ever compare to playing in close confines, like a place where he got shots up at midnight or places where he grew up watching his sisters play. I don't think it would ever compare to that. But I don't know. It's still a chance, like you said, for Mizzou fans to come down here and see him play. He's still gonna have be well received. The second he checks in, that may be the loudest the Scottrade gets the whole day, the whole weekend.
Whole weekend, I bet. Yeah, whole week.
So it'll still be
unless
good for
they
him.
win.
Yeah, unless they win at all. So it'll still be good for him. But yeah, I think I think he will miss the opportunity of never playing it. Like he got the starting like introductions the first game against Iowa State, made a basket.
Right.
But just playing that season or doing different things in Mizzou Arena, his first dunk in Mizzou, his first 3, the first basket he made to give Missouri a lead, all those things he wanted.
It's easy to look back when you think about how he kind of built up the season, his reasons for coming to Mizzou were to do those things. That's what he said in his, when he decided to commit to Missouri, were to do those things, to revive the culture and play in the place that he grew up shooting baskets at, to not get that opportunity to kind of look back and see those things not happening. And yet him have an opportunity to do it in the postseason, I think, is interesting. That was why he came, was to play at home, was to bring the program back. And now he's been on the roster, hasn't really contributed at all on the floor this season. And everybody, the teammates that are here around him have done that without him being a part of it. I think it was, I don't know, it was hard to understand exactly what was going on this week, but it felt like, okay, he's definitely going to play. And then when he didn't play against Arkansas, it was like, well, maybe he's definitely not going to play. Maybe he's done for the season.
How I've always described it, or at least the last month or so, is whatever you think's going to happen, it's going to be the exact opposite.
Right. And that
I was up Saturday thinking, all right, Mike's playing today.
Right.
I just
against Arkansas.
Yeah, it's Arkansas. And got the email and go, oh, is it not playing? Right.
I guess my point was all season it's felt like that it was inevitable. It was going to happen. When Michael Porter continued to be around the team, to be around practice, to travel, do all those things, and miss out, when he didn't get the opportunity to do the stuff at Mizzou Arena, but still contribute in the postseason. Then Cullen got hurt. It just felt like it was all building up to him eventually coming back. Right. But before today, I think it had kind of been written off, and it's probably not going to happen.
I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. I remember when the players were doing the press conference, Feinbaum tweeted it, and I remember hitting his shoulder like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. And I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. But, yeah, I agree. It's weird. It's kind of crazy. This whole story or Michael Porter saga has been pretty nuts.
Yeah. But it's been interesting. It's been different for a Mizzou program that, like you said, has never really had something like that before. Right. It was a team that won 8 games in the conference of the last 3 years.
And not to say Mizzou hasn't had great players, because they definitely have.
Right.
But to have the number 1 recruit in the country at a school like Mizzou, that doesn't happen very often.
I mean, he's got his own national following.
Right. Yeah.
There are people around the country who are interested in Michael Porter Jr., regardless of who he plays.
Which is why you see national media outlets coming to Mizzou and coming to press conferences like today. Like, they don't come here unless there's a chance Michael Porter Jr. is playing.
Right.
And I mean, not saying they don't cover the tournament, but they're not at Missouri's media availability.
Funny story about that. Everybody was preparing for kind of an informal practice schedule. The team was practicing today, just kind of shooting around for 30 minutes, and everybody was preparing for that sort of environment where everybody kind of huddles around the players and talks to players and talks to Conzo Martin. They actually moved it into the press conference room because there were so many people.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You could have seen the microphones at the press conference didn't work. So all the TV people had to put their microphones up. The reporters had to put their reporters up. There were so many microphones. I should have taken a picture of it. Even
the players who have done this for a long time were kind of surprised. And at that point in time, the people that showed up probably didn't have any idea that Michael was going to be the topic of conversation, but the way it worked out with Mizzou being the home team and Michael Porter, the news breaking ended up being a very big deal today.
Without a doubt. Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, we should quickly mention, as Alex mentioned a couple minutes ago, that Jordan Geis did not practice today.
Right.
Had the flu, but probably will play tomorrow. There wasn't any doubt from Conzo Martin or for any of the players that Jordan Geis should play tomorrow. Still the only point guard on the roster, really. Mm-hmm. We've talked in past podcasts and in stories about how Michael Porter kind of changes things as somebody who can dribble the ball. So that is a potential for Mizzou to play a little bit quicker.
Jamel Rags said the Vandy-Georgia game is getting good. The stat broadcast in front of me says Georgia is up 15 points. It doesn't look good.
Not quite. What do you think about Georgia, who Mizzou is almost certainly going to play tomorrow?
They're playing really well right now. I don't think for me it's like, is this Vandy being Vandy?
Yeah.
Or Georgia playing really well? Now, I think they're shooting like 50-some% free right now. Where are they at? Over here.
45% from three, and 48% from the field.
That's not going to happen. I mean, you'd expect that not to happen against Missouri because they're a good team defending the three-point line. I think if they're going to win, they're going to have to go inside with Deontay and try to get some guys in foul trouble. Now, what Michael Porter Jr. brings, which we've kind of touched on, not only is he a guy who can bring the ball up, he's 6'10".
Yeah.
he's a versatile guy who
rebounder, shooter, and
rebound, do a lot of things. So that'd be an interesting matchup for them. And like I said, I wrote it in our preview. Georgia's strength is Yante Mott.
Yeah,
he is going to carry this team. If Missouri slows him down, I think they win the game.
Yante Mott. You got that from Schiff, didn't you? That's his pronunciation guide. Mayton, isn't it Mayton? Mayton or Mott?
I don't know.
Because Kevin Purrier famously.
Oh, it's definitely Mayton.
Yeah.
Schiff.
He got you, yeah. You can't blame him because he's not here anymore.
Yeah, no. I'll blame him when I get back to the table. But yeah, no, it's Yante Mayton. Mott. Mayton. What is it?
Mayton.
Yeah, Mayton.
Mayton.
Yeah, Mayton.
He scored what? I mean, he was a pretty much non-factor in Mizzou's win earlier.
He didn't play well, though. I remember exactly. He was in single digits for sure. Jeremiah Tillman and Johnson had a tremendous game that day. I remember that for sure. I asked Kevin Purrier about it today, about just how do they duplicate that effort, and he was just saying that it was a factor of the whole team really putting a good defensive effort. They're going to have to double them times.
Yeah.
I'm just push him off the block a little bit, so that'd be impressive. He had 9 points, so 2 of 8 shooting.
Thank you, Tramel.
So.
Obviously, a key for tomorrow if Mizzou ends up playing Georgia, which we expect that they will, with a chance to go to the quarterfinals on the line, and then they play Kentucky, who I think could be – I don't know. You could say this about a lot of teams in this tournament, could end up winning the whole thing or losing their first game.
Right. This is a good segue to our SEC tournament prediction.
Yeah, what's your thought? Are you picking a winner? Is that what we're doing here?
We can, or we can pick –
Should we put something on the line here?
We could pick our Final Four and a winner. Or our championship, how you want it? Final Four, championship, and the winner?
Okay.
Do you know what the bracket looks like? Should I pull it up?
I kind of have an idea. So tomorrow, Alabama will play Texas A&M, and the winner will play Auburn.
Right.
And then you have, on the other side of the bracket, Tennessee will play the winner of –
Why are they doing this? That's not the right one.
Oh, so LSU and Mississippi State will play – the winner of that game will play Tennessee.
Correct.
And the winner of Texas A&M and Alabama will play Auburn.
Yeah.
And then the winner of Missouri and the winner of this game tonight, Georgia, will play Kentucky.
And the winner of
the other game tonight is Mississippi against
South Carolina.
And
they'll play
Florida.
No. There's a team in the second round.
This is off to a good start.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know why the bracket is like that. Bear with us, guys. Bear with us.
I'm glad that we're so knowledgeable about this.
I know it all.
It was not. See, this is a Mac. This is a Mac. You got to make it full screen. So we have all the games listed here. Yeah, it's not wide enough.
Yeah,
it's like coming up as like a mobile screen.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah,
we have right now Georgia's going to
Arkansas.
Georgia's probably going to beat Vanderbilt. The winner of that game will play Missouri tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
Later tonight, South Carolina will play Ole Miss. The winner of that game will play Arkansas.
And the winner of that plays Florida.
Okay, so let's start with tomorrow's games. Who do you have? Texas A&M against Alabama.
I have Texas A&M. Alabama just can't score consistently enough right now. They can't shoot from the free throw line. Texas A&M is really, really good.
Texas A&M is really good. Colin Sexton is an X factor of this tournament. He's the best point guard in the tournament. I'll go Texas A&M too. Who do you have? Missouri against Georgia.
I got Georgia. I think Mike being back, I take a lot of pressure off a lot of guys. I think Jeremiah Tillman and John have kind of figured it out without trouble. I think they'll handle Georgia pretty well.
You said Georgia when I said who do you have? Missouri or Georgia?
I meant Missouri. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I was about to. I was going to wait for your comments to back it up, and you started talking about Mike.
Missouri.
I agree. I think that would have been a hot take. I think Missouri will win that game too. For all the reasons you just said. Obviously, a good matchup against Georgia the first time, and then you add Michael Porter. LSU and Mississippi State.
I'm actually going to go LSU here. I think Tremont Waters is going to have a huge day. Very good guard who can do a lot of things, score inside out, smart, really controls the pace pretty well for that group. They go as far as he goes. I think if you're looking for an upset here in that round, I think that's – and I think LSU just beat Mississippi State, or they just beat somebody pretty good by like 24 the other day. So I'm not going to look it up this one's work, but I'm going to take LSU.
I agree with you. I think Mississippi State's kind of starting to at the end of the season, they were through the middle and the early part of the SEC season, were able to hang in there just because they were so good on their home floor. Obviously, they're not playing at home.
Right.
I think LSU is probably the more talented team of those two.
And both those teams are playing to get into the tournament. Both those teams would have to be Tennessee. Not to get in, but that'd be a good start. I think Tremont Walsh is the most talented.
Okay, Arkansas versus the winner of South Carolina and Ole Miss.
Arkansas. That backcourt with Jalen Barford and Daryl Macon is just way too good.
I'm going to take South Carolina to beat Arkansas tomorrow night. So then you have Texas A&M playing Auburn.
I'm actually going to go Texas A&M.
This is in the quarterfinals, which start on Friday.
I'm actually going to take Texas A&M in that game, just strictly off size. Robert Williams and Tyler Davis are low for anybody to handle. Auburn's best post player was Anthony McLemore. He's not playing anymore. Add in DJ Hogue. I think Texas A&M is
That's a good pick, honestly. I think Texas A&M is one of the four most talented teams in the conference.
Yeah.
And Auburn, my prediction from last week in a podcast that never made it to the light of day was that neither the women's or the – you're going to have to back me up on this.
Yeah.
I did predict that neither the women's nor the men's number one seed would win the tournament.
You did too.
Mississippi State ended up losing in the championship game of the women's tournament. I think Texas A&M will probably beat Auburn just because Texas A&M is so talented this year, and Auburn is – it's been a long season for Auburn, and they're missing a lot due to injuries. So I'm going to go with Texas A&M too.
Then we have Missouri, Kentucky. Here's my thing about this game. In my opinion, these are the two SEC teams with the most upside and the two most inconsistent SEC teams.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And on any day, Missouri and Kentucky could beat anybody in the SEC. On any day, they could lose to anybody in the SEC by 15.
Right.
On this day, you can't even give it a home court advantage because Big Blue Nation travels better than any
Yeah,
team.
I bet that'll be a 50-50 split.
I give the edge right now. I wish I could come back on the podcast tomorrow and change this.
You can't.
I give the edge to Kentucky right now because if they get hot, they're really tough to beat. And I don't know what Mike Porter is going to do. That's going to gel right. If that gels right, I can easily see them beating Kentucky. But right now, just because I don't know what it's going to look like, I have Kentucky next.
The game at Rupp Arena really surprised me. I haven't been that excited about. I just feel like Kentucky. They haven't really done much to impress me this season.
Yeah.
I know they're extremely athletic. When they're at their best, which they were when they played Missouri Rupp Arena a week and a half ago, they are incredibly athletic. They don't usually hit threes, but they hit a ton of them against the Tigers at home.
And they hit a ton in
when they shoot from outside, they're essentially unbeatable.
Right.
But I don't really see that traveling.
Yeah.
And if they don't shoot, 60% from three in the first half, or whatever that was in Lexington, that was a 6-point game at halftime.
Yeah.
I think that's a totally different game. So I'm going to pick Missouri to win that game in the quarterfinals.
I've changed my pick. And if I changed it. I changed it before we went to the podcast. Official. I'm taking Missouri because I totally forgot Jared Vanderbilt.
That's true.
He's the best rebounder
he's day to
in the
day.
conference.
Right.
He's played 14
Kentucky's
games.
probably the best player.
Right, and he's averaging 3.5 offensive boards a game in 14 games. That's a big deal if you miss that.
Yeah.
And you add in Mike and Missouri, you can kind of hit the boards a little harder. I'll go.
So you're going Missouri over
going
Kentucky
Missouri.
in the quarterfinals. Okay. So now you have LSU against Tennessee in the quarterfinals. I agree.
Just better all around.
You were saying
Tennessee's the best defensive team in the conference. They'll slow down Tremont Waters.
You were saying Missouri and Kentucky had the most upside, but were the most inconsistent.
Yeah.
Kentucky's the most consistent team in the conference.
Tennessee, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. Tennessee is the most consistent team in the conference. That's the way it's been all season.
I agree. And then we're different here. We have Arkansas and Florida. I'm going with Florida. I take experience backcourt, Chris Joseph, ball control. Arkansas is a really good backcourt as well, but Florida, just Chris Joseph is just something. When you have a guard that talented, that experience, it helps you in the postseason. And I think Arkansas will have more fans here. I think that group travel pretty well, but I lean Florida with experience, and they have the talent to do it. They just don't shoot the ball tremendously, or they don't defend the three ball tremendously. So if Arkansas gets hot, they could win. Mm-hmm. I think I was looking at today, and I was really surprised by this. Jalen Barford and Daryl Macon are the top three-ball shooters in the conference. Both shooting 43%.
Pretty good.
I'll go Florida just because I trust Chris Chioza in that backcourt.
I'm going South Carolina.
Wow.
To the semifinals.
Okay.
Beating Florida, beating Arkansas, and beating Florida to get to the
Are you just saying that
semifinals.
because South Carolina cheerleaders are walking by?
I am not saying that because the cheerleaders are walking by. I am saying that because Frank Martin can rally a team unlike I think any other coach in the conference.
I agree.
Okay, so now your semifinal. You have Texas A&M against Missouri in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Who do you have in that game? Texas A&M won the first game,
Lost.
slow, slug it out kind of game in College Station, but then lost to Missouri in the second game.
I got to go Missouri. It's a home game. I mean, people aren't from College Station to come to this game, really.
Right.
I think Jeremiah Tillman and John Tate dominated Robert Williams in the second game with Tyler Davis. They were just completely better than them. They got Tyler Davis in foul trouble early. I think the key for that game is going to be a mix of Jordan Barnett and Mark Porter Jr. If that game is to happen. If that game happens, that means they're gelling a little bit offensively. Those two are able to defend DJ Hogue, get him away from the basket a little bit. You're pulling DJ Hogue, who's a 6'9" forward who can defend inside and out, just super athletic. I think he's their most important player for Texas A&M. I think you're forcing him to have to play defense in multiple positions. I think you do that, you can give a chance to win that game. I think you'll be fine. I would actually, if you're talking Texas A&M, Missouri, put Missouri in the championship.
That'll be. I will rely on your experience, more just because I think you've probably done a little bit more scouting than I have on the men's side. It's a tough matchup in game one because I don't feel like Missouri's bigs.
They're ready for that atmosphere and that physicality.
They also didn't get that much out of Jordan Barnett, I don't think. When they played,
I think Cassius had 3 points.
It was kind of a struggle. You have Jordan Barnett playing a lot better.
Yeah.
Jordan Barnett's career to this point has been defined by this amazing talent and athleticism that he has that we only see in flashes.
Yeah.
He's pretty much created his offensive game around being a spot-up shooter, even though he's 6'6", very athletic, and I think you're starting to finally get some of that out of him. Now, at the tail end of his senior year, he's defending a lot better. I'm writing about that for tomorrow a little bit, that his defense has come a long way in kind of at the end of the season. And he's also finding ways to get offensive rebounds, finding ways to get points near the basket. So that makes Missouri a different team, too, especially if you have somebody like Mike on the floor.
I agree.
So I will go Missouri to beat Texas A&M, too, in the semifinals and go to the championship.
All right.
So now you have Tennessee,
and
Florida.
That's a tough one. Tennessee is such a good defensive team. Florida doesn't turn the ball over. That's a tough one. I tend to lean Tennessee because, like you said, they're probably the most consistent team in the SEC. Very defensive sound. Like, if Florida's not going to turn the ball over, they're not going to get easy baskets either. And I think I like Tennessee. I like Aaron Schofield. I like Grant Williams. I like kind of what they have. I'd probably lean Tennessee in that game.
You're going Tennessee?
I'd go Tennessee.
I have South Carolina in that game playing Tennessee. I will pick Tennessee to win that game, too. Go to the championship.
So we have a Missouri-Tennessee championship.
We do.
Call us homers. I'm not from Missouri, though, so I can't be on.
What are you trying to say?
You're home.
Okay. All right. Means something to hear from somebody else, but for my own company, it means something a little bit different.
No, I think we both have good reasoning for this championship pick. The matchup between Missouri and Tennessee, if that was to happen, would be so interesting to see because they both play similar. Like, Tennessee doesn't mind playing slow because they're so strong defensively they can play that way. But I also think Tennessee can speed it up too. It's hard to pick against Missouri in a Scott Trade sold-out arena. I'd have to go Tennessee.
Well, we can't have the same championship results. So by God, I will take Mizzou and Scott Trade, the black and gold wave that's going to come from all parts of the state to show up in St. Louis, and Missouri's going to ride the momentum all the way and win the SEC.
That could happen.
I think so you picked Tennessee. Are you going to change your opinion on that like you did before?
No, I'm good. I'm picking Tennessee.
So I think the toughest game, I don't know, hypothetically, would be if they were to win tomorrow and play Kentucky. Like that would be, I think, like you were saying, like that's when you will know how this team's really playing.
I agree. I think if they beat Kentucky, they're in the championship game. I've said that before Michael Porter came back. Before that was announced, I firmly believe it now. I think if they beat Kentucky, I think they have a good matchup against either Auburn or Texas.
I mean, and not to say if Georgia plays tomorrow night like they're playing tonight, hitting threes, Vanderbilt's defense leaves a lot to be desired. They're a very bad defensive team. But if Georgia's hitting threes like they are tonight, Missouri's run could end tomorrow.
Right, I agree.
I think that's definitely a possibility.
Right.
We've seen teams hit threes on Missouri at a kind of a crazy rate all season. So maybe this is a game where Georgia gets really hot, and then tomorrow night they go back out with the same game plan and don't hit any, and the offense doesn't go anywhere. But the other thing that we're banking on by picking Missouri to go all the way to the championship is that they get that kind of production for 4 straight nights out of 8 players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
and that's tough because even with Michael Porter Jr. coming back, Jordan Barnett and Cassius are still going to play more than 35 minutes a game. So, yeah, I guess you think about that as well. But I don't know. And to your point about picking Missouri over Tennessee, I think there is also something to it, the fact that they would be the biggest team Tennessee played this year.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about 3 guys who are 6'11", and John Michael can shoot in and out. Tennessee's best player is Greg Williams inside, and he's SEC Player of the Year, but 6'11". You know what I mean? So I could see that as well, but I don't know. I think you're right with picking like Missouri to go all the way. I think it has something to do with Michael Porter Jr. a little bit. And I think it has something to do with you're banking on them being fresh the whole time, that's a big part of the postseason. How many guys can you get out there on the floor? I think Missouri is going to have to play Brett Rouse at least a little bit here and there if they get past Friday, at least especially on Saturday.
Okay. Tell us if we're right or wrong on Twitter.
I have all these matchups wrong.
Call us out if we get them wrong.
South Carolina
but if you do, we reserve the right to brag the ones we get right.
I brag about it all the time.
It's the way they work.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll do some more of these as the tournament goes on, depending on how Missouri does. They will open their SEC tournament with a 2 o'clock, I guess 2:30 game on Thursday against Georgia. We'll get to see Michael Porter play his biggest role of the season for the Tigers. So thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you later this week.
See you.